Sean Myrie, live and direct in EQ Studios. So, you know, breaking news, but we're gonna talk about. But please subscribe. Breaking news recently: the Wireless Festival, where Drake is the headliner, the biggest star on that whole Wireless Festival in the UK, with a whole bunch of superstars on there that you know, are with Drake. It was a 3 night, I think, a 3 nights festival. There was Burna Boy on there. There was Vibes Cartel on there. There's Pop Can on there. There was a variety of a whole bunch of artists on this festival. What Drake is the biggest artist on, but he invited a whole bunch of streamers, Aiden Ross, and a whole bunch of others. I don't really know their names, but the biggest one is Aiden Ross. He paid for this $80 million what it's called jet to pick them up, right? From America. The only other Canadian who was there or known invited was Top Five, a popular drill or a social media, you know, character from Toronto. Top Five was at the Wireless Festival with Drake because everybody associates Top Five with Drake, calling Top Five the shooter for Drake. Even a lot of Americans described him as that. And as he was streaming in UK, because it's the Wireless Festival, and Drake invited. The reason he invited Top Five, I'm guessing, because he was part of the crew with Aiden Ross doing live streaming on Kick, which we're on right now. So as they were live streaming, he was into like talking with some other guys, the Nelk Boys, another big content makers. They have their podcast, right? So I guess you were saying Top Five mentioned this is before all of this the stuff what happened with him getting poked happened. You're saying there's no bad boy them in UK. There's like basically saying like they're soft. He was saying like there's nobody in England or where they're at right now who's a threat to him. There's no bad boy them down there. So people have to really look on that. I seen that clip. He said there's no bad boy them pan down there. This man, yo. He said there's no bad boys down there. So that is what I think caught up with him. When he said there's no bad boys down in England on a stream, the people heard that, and I don't know how much hours after that this attack happened. When you see the attack, right? I ain't playing the attack, but when you see the attack, which is going viral, there's a car in the middle of the road or something, people all over the vehicle, and he's getting attacked, apparently by a masked man, but he's getting attacked, but no police, no authority. They're not trying to stop it. You just see the vehicle moving. No, it's not even moving. You just see people jumping on top of the vehicle, people trying to drag him out, and they they claim the reports he got stabbed in the neck, right? And England, they love to, that's the stereotype or the stories of people, they use the knife a lot of stabbings right down there. So I'm guessing like there's been reports maybe he's in critical condition and stuff because the neck is very, it's a soft place. I don't know if he'll be the same, if he'll be able to speak anymore. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know if it was a message or they're trying to kill him. To me, it's like they're trying to assassinate him, right? So that's the recent news, that he got stabbed in the neck in the UK. And all of this is because they knew where he was. This man was in a vehicle. They seen where he was. He had that chain. He had a big chain around his neck. So that just brings more attention that you are somebody because you have a big shiny chain. They know about Top Five because he's a social media figure. And this, he got stabbed. Some people thought he died, but you know, reports is that he's he's maybe all right. That's the report. But he went down there with Drake. So Drake's probably concerned if this is obviously his friend. He cannot say that he's not associated with Top Five no more, right? If he ever did, right? Like clearly Top Five is associated with Drake because this shows it. Like, he's with Aiden Ross, top five down in the UK, and Aiden Ross is close with Drake and everything. They do a stream. They linked up top five with a deal. I don't know if that's true, a full deal with Kick, or hooked them up with trying to get onto that platform and make some money, right? But that's the news. And the other news, what doesn't make it better, is Drake mentioning in his show that UK rappers are better in some way of doing hip hop than American hip hop artists. He brought up that UK rappers are like, he was praising them. You could give them flowers, but this is a whole new subject what's going to come up. People are going to definitely be talking about this, about Drake saying that UK rappers are better than American in any type of way. He's going to have to clarify this, because now it it goes to the argument if Drake is really hip hop or does he know the culture. For him to say that the UK rappers are above in any way the best, are better than American rappers, boy, that's like blasphemy. So look at that energy. He went on stage. I don't know if he was excited, drunk, or some people would say high, to basically this. That was a whole diss to a whole bunch of a community by saying that English rappers could out rap whatever American rappers. And now you have the thing with Joyner Lucas, right? Talking about responding. And then you hear Skepta, because this whole thing is Skepta. I think Skepta was on stage too with Drake, and there's been this whole English versus American hip hop, which is kind of is ridiculous to me. I'm be honest. Respect to the English artists, the rappers, but it's ridiculous because I can't even remember. I can't even name 10 English rappers on my hand compared to American rappers, and I don't even have to bring up the best of American rappers. I could bring up the underground, right? So that statement is very controversial. It's gonna keep people talking. Drake must be smarter. He knows that's gonna make people talk. What he mentioned on the microphone in UK on that wireless festival by talking and saying that UK rappers are either could out rap American rappers or they're just better, which is ridiculous. And you coming from Canada, that's another thing. So now they're not. It's gonna even make it even worse because you're coming from Canada. A Canadian artist is saying that. So now Americans who are doing content could say, of course he'll say that. He's not American. He's an outsider. Now that whole argument's gonna start. That of course Drake could say what he said. That doesn't mean nothing to us because his opinions is coming from somebody who's not American, right? So now that's what he's. That's some of the news right now, and that's gonna be going viral for a while. But this right now is the big story. Top five, which is linked with Drake, linked with that whole wireless thing. So all the main things they're talking about right now is what Drake mentioned about the rap game, and now Drake shooter getting stabbed. Was all of this talk before this whole incident, this whole thing happened? Was Drake's did Drake mention this and vice versa around before this whole stabbing happened? And um, why wasn't there security or authority around where top five was? If he's one of the, maybe he's not as important as the other people, but or no one warned them, right? But getting caught in traffic, if that's the reason you got caught in traffic and people spotted you and your life is in danger, that's not a good look. That's not a good look right now. A lot of people are talking about this. This is going viral right now. That top five was stabbed in the UK. We haven't seen the corporate news report it yet, just the blog pages and stuff like that. Sometimes people can make up stories to get, attention, but it seems like there's a video out there, a visual of a guy somebody getting attacked in a vehicle, dragged, and what is described later, top five, is stabbed in the neck. So that's not a good place to get. You don't want to get hurt anyways, but especially in the neck. So it could probably paralyze you, can make you speak differently, all types of things. So we're gonna keep you updated if that's actually facts. But what is facts is what Drake been talking about in regards to American rap versus this UK rap. It's crazy, right? No, you're gonna make it even worse now. Now these people call them who are promoting themselves as FBA. Really, now you just gave them content to talk. These FBA people. Now they're gonna say, see, they're not foundational Black Americans. See how this guy is going to the UK and disrespecting us and saying that UK rappers are better than ours, and we know that's not true. Drake, you know that ain't true. Now he's just making these people talk, have some ammunition to use against you and use against even any outsider or a person who's not from, especially America. So he made it even worse now, man. Holy, American rappers, I mean UK rappers, are could out rap American rappers. What's that saying about the people he worked with? Because he worked with English rappers. The big guy he brought out was Gigs. Drake brought out Gigs, right? He's known. So I don't know about the rest. Skepta, and then there's these other guys never heard of, like not as big, right? So this is the news, D2E news. A lot of stuff, other stuff is going on, but this is the urban media news. And I don't know if I updated it ever since it happened with this whole Diddy stuff. That I told you that he wasn't gonna be getting no big serious RICO charges, and it was gonna be he'd probably get some time, but those RICOs and a lot of the case was like crap. They rushed the case, and the most you might get is a 5 years, maybe even earlier. Might be coming out of prison because the serious charges they couldn't get him with. So now they're gonna have to find. They're probably still looking for other stuff. Meanwhile, Puffy's locked up. They're probably looking for other stuff to keep him in there longer. So he has to wait for his court case to come up in October. So he's gonna be there all summer. He's spending dead time or whatever they call it. He will be there until October, the judgment, and to see if he gets any bail or anything, right? So, and like I said, it shall continue. But he did not get charged for a lot of those serious charges. The two charges what he got charged with was some type of forced prostitution and trafficking. And the trafficking was John Doe, which many people claim it's 50 cents, 50 cents ex, his ex girlfriend, and the other one is Cassie, which we already know about. They're saying the two charges have to relate to two women, and one he was in a relationship for over 10 years, and the other one was somebody who was interested in that industry of doing escorting. Let's be straight up. That's the only reason uh, he got charged from the person who was actually doing something close to this the whole sex trafficking, but they didn't get him on the sex trafficking. They got a John Doe getting paid, I guess, to come visit him. That's the story for Diddy. So he's getting charged for paying for transportation, and I'm guessing he must have had sex with John Doe or something. I don't think it was just a friendly talk. So that's what he'll be going to prison for, and for Cassie, and not for the beating of Cassie, for whatever he was doing with those charges, which are not RICO. It's not RICO. That's all I know. It's not anything to do with the government deep like that. It's just a normal, or not a exactly normal charge, but a charge the authorities would give you if you were prostituting somebody or assault or holding somebody against their will. That's it. The most he might get is 5 years, maybe earlier. Might just get a year. That's Diddy. But that's the D2E news on Down to Earth Network and on Kick Out.